How's it going, everyone? Got quite a bit to talk about today as far as some PlayStation updates, as far as when we can hear about what they have been working on. A PlayStation State of Play, according to Jeff Grubb, is currently scheduled for March, as well as a PlayStation Showcase before June. Now, if you're unfamiliar with it, State of Play is the regular updates we'll get from PlayStation throughout the year. The PlayStation Showcase, generally speaking, is their big event where they showcase a lot of stuff and their major stuff. Sony is apparently withholding bigger games for a PlayStation Showcase that is planned to come before June, and the State of Play will possibly come in March and potentially sooner, and warns that it'll be pretty low-key. State of Play a lot of the times is relatively low-key. I remember the State of Play last year where people were just incredibly disappointed, and in retrospect you can easily see why. Do you guys remember the State of Play where Sony was pretty pretty vocal, and they let you know right out the gate that this State of Play is going to be a smaller event showcasing a lot of Japanese titles, and the big way that they concluded the State of Play, like usually you conclude these events with your banger announcements. In retrospect, we got Dio Field Chronicle, which is a game that I really did enjoy, but a lot of people have mixed opinions on, and then Valkyrie Elysium, which a lot of people just generally saw as a relatively mediocre action RPG. I had fun with it, but in retrospect, that State of Play just looks like total memes. The showcases, generally speaking, are really, really good. I think one of the showcases we got, that God of War Ragnarok gameplay drop that people have been waiting for a long time. Yeah, the showcases, generally speaking, are really good. State of Play, I foresee it being a lot of smaller announcements. Maybe you'll tie in some VR content in there, given that, you know, if that is coming right around the time of VR, or right after VR, you still want to keep that promotional buzz going. Showcase is where I foresee the big Spider-Man gameplay dropping, because if it's before June, that is right around the time period that I had expected the Spider-Man marketing push to really begin, because at this point, we still hardly know anything about the game, and we really need to start getting some definitive dates for these games. I feel like Sony isn't at the level that they were when I feel like they were at their peak in terms of dropping high-quality titles year-round. I mean, 2023, what do we have to really look forward to early this year? If you're picking VR up, great, but a lot of people aren't going to be picking it up, and a lot of the lineup is just upgrades outside of like Horizon Call of the Mountain and whatnot. Burning Shore, I'm super excited for it. Like, I really enjoyed Horizon Forbidden West, but at the end of the day, that is an expansion of an already existing game. Final Fantasy 16 is a game that they just signed an exclusivity deal on, and, you know, they're probably gonna release that game on other platforms as well. It's not really a Sony game. I'm incredibly excited for Final Fantasy 16, don't get it twisted, but, you know, I can only value that so highly, given that it's not really an in-house Sony game. And then after that, you know, we're really just down to Spider-Man 2 for the rest of the year. That's really what we're looking at outside of, you know, third-party and indie stuff, but, you know, hopefully they have some bigger games. The Last of Us multiplayer project, while I'm not incredibly looking forward to that, I know that is something that will get a lot of people excited, and I've been saying that Sony needs big multiplayer projects for a while now. Something like a Last of Us multiplayer project, that's going to get people incredibly excited. And there are other live service games in general, and, you know, if they are going to get more and more into the multiplayer market, I mean, I've been pretty vocal about multiplayer and live service as a whole. I get the idea of, oh, let's cook up 20 games and hopefully 2 of them will stick, which seems like what a lot of publishers have been doing. Ubisoft has been pretty adamant in doing that as their game plan, but you see games like Knockout City come out and then drop off the face of the earth or ultimately get canceled, or, you know, just get shut down, etc., etc. Rumbleverse is another one. But if it was up to me, if they do have a Last of Us multiplayer project that's going to come out anytime in the near future, and you need that to be persistent and have a core audience invested into that game, dude, I drop that game on PC and PlayStation simultaneously, get as big of an audience as you can. Hey, if things weren't such a show between Microsoft and Sony, I would say drop it on Xbox as well, if we could really make that happen. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but PC can happen. You drop that game on Steam, you drop that game on PlayStation, let's get an audience of people invested into that game, and I imagine that that game is relatively far along, given that it's been in development for a while, and Naughty Dog out there saying that it's their most ambitious project ever. We'll see how that turns out. Spider-Man 2, the gameplay drop for that is going to be the big one, but man, I wish we could get back to a point where it felt like we were getting 3 to 4 major exclusives a year, or even more than that. If we could get like 4 major exclusives a year, I think that would be a really healthy number. And I don't count stuff like Final Fantasy 16, nor do I count stuff like Burning Shore, and nor do I count any of the VR stuff. I get it, they need to be invested into VR, and I've been on that mindset that if you're gonna release a platform like that, you gotta drop big games on it. But you know, FF16, it's just an exclusivity deal, whatever. It'll be exclusive for 6 months and then it'll hit other platforms. It's not really an exclusive. So you look at the lineup this year, Spider-Man 2 is really the big one. Let's get Last of Us hopefully this year. It'd be nice if we could get one other major title sometime this year. Like, what is Bluepoint working on? Maybe Bluepoint's game is further along than we think, but you know, that idea of 4 exclusives a year, it's been a long time since that many exclusives would drop out a year. That many in-house Sony-developed titles would drop in a year. But I just look back at the PlayStation 3 era of games, and I remember, like, 2009. That year was just absolutely insane. 2010, 2011 as well. Those years where you were just getting, like, Infamous, Uncharted 2, Demon's Souls, etc., etc. I just felt like we were just getting banger after banger at one point. And I get it that these development cycles have gotten longer and longer. And, you know, for example, Spider-Man came out in 2018, God of War early 2018, and then God of War Ragnarok late 2018, late 2022, I don't know why I keep getting these dates mixed up. Same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn, early 2017, Forbidden West early 2022. Hopefully, you know, things can get a little quicker, but these games are just getting bigger and bigger, and more investment is being put into them. No wonder, you know, you want to go the live service route so you can just release a game and then continue to build upon that game, you know, over time. But I think Sony does need to get a lot of things announced and get people excited, because right now, a lot of excitement around Nintendo. Metroid Prime Remastered drops, Zelda's coming out. Microsoft, you know, as much as people want to crap on them, look at their lineup that they've got coming up. Atomic Heart, Game Pass. Wolong Fallen Dynasty, Game Pass. Yes, those games aren't exclusive, but the fact that they're going to be in Game Pass, I think that's a major deal. You've got stuff like Starfield on the horizon, Redfall on the horizon. Now, you can make the argument that, hey, you're saying Final Fantasy 16, you don't really count that as an exclusive, but those games, they're exclusive, but Microsoft just bought Bethesda. Yeah, but there's still games coming out. Like, I attribute some of PlayStation's excitement in 2023 with Final Fantasy, but that is just a 6-month exclusive at the end of the day. Like, we've been told that that's a 6-month exclusive, so I don't know if it's going to hit Xbox. I imagine it would, but it'll definitely hit PC. So, you know, how much emphasis can you really put behind that? I know the Xbox games are on PC right away as well, but nonetheless, I'm rambling here, but I really want to see Sony announce some exciting stuff. Like, I feel like, especially with Microsoft also just stealth dropping Hi-Fi Rush, that was a big deal. Nintendo stealth dropping Metroid Prime, maybe Sony can do a stealth drop. I know that's not really their gimmick. They're more about announcing their games 3-4 years in advance and then just having us wait for those games. I mean, I look at a Wolverine and how long are we gonna wait for that game? But nonetheless, you know, Nintendo and Microsoft have definitely done that as well. Don't get it twisted. Metroid Prime 4, where that at? But nonetheless, hopefully, the March State of Play, when that does get announced, temper your excitement level for that. The showcase, when that happens in June, obviously, you can get pumped up about that, and that'll have a lot of exciting reveals and announcements. And I feel like I was kind of down on Sony and PlayStation in this video, but I just want to see some dates get announced. I want to see some new reveals with some concrete information on this is when that game is going to come out, because right now, VR2, not really something I want to jump into. Burning Shore, excited for that. FF16, excited for that. Timed exclusive. Spider-Man 2, let's get some gameplay going. Let's get a release date for that. Let's get some other exciting announcements on the way as well. But that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.